Hi everyone, and welcome to the show. Now I've got a very interesting guest with us today. I've got Sean Williams joining us, and he's a South African who's currently in Zanzibar, and his organization is called Live Life Always. Now, in the run-up to World Environment Day, which is on the 5th of June, I'm doing this on behalf of the IAHV, International Association for Human Values. And waste and the waste that's generated by countries around the world is still a massive problem, and that's what we're going to talk about today. So Sean, thank you for giving us some of your time, and just a quick a little bit about yourself. You're a South African, you've moved to Zanzibar. We'll cover the why later, but just a little bit on what you're doing at the moment.
Yeah, so at the moment, my name is, as you said, Sean Williams. I'm 52 years old. I've recently moved to Zanzibar. Well, it's like almost 1 year now. And when I came out here, obviously being closer to the ocean, I realized that I had to fulfill this passion that was always nagging me.
Yeah, okay. We'll come back to that. So let's talk about World Environment Day and the waste problem that we have, right? Now, I've got some stats here, which was supplied to me. So according to the State of Waste report, which was done last year, South Africa fills an entire football field 10 meters deep every single day in terms of waste generated. I mean, it's quite shocking. Every single person generates up to 2.5 kilos per day, 250 tons of rubbish. The landfills are actually running out of space. But the one that shocked me is that out of all of this, only 10% of the 54 million tons of waste generated every year is recycled. I mean, these are some shocking stats, right?
Yeah, it's if you think about on the news lately, there's all these G7 summits and all these massive governments getting together about how they can stop the climate change. But yet in 2021, the amount of natural forest removed from the planet is the size of the United Kingdom. So, it's you just ask yourself where are we heading as a human race, really? I mean, it's you got stats there that are staggering, but the other side is, we are removing the oxygen from the oxygen comes from forests and oceans, and we are killing both.
Yeah. So we'll get to what you're doing, right? So let's start with Johannesburg first, right? So you were based in Johannesburg. Tell us a bit about the cleanups you've done in around the Fourways area. How did that start initially, and what made you actually go to the streets and start these cleanup campaigns?
Well, as you know, in June of 2020, which is when the initiative sort of started, of June of 2020, July, somewhere around there, we weren't really allowed to do much except go out and cycle around a 5-kilometer radius of your house. And I decided to, I'd always had a passion for the planet. I'd seen how living in Fourways was a complete mess, period. The city of Joburg had put dustbins in Fourways, but yet you had these massive taxi ranks that were stretching kilometers away from these dustbins. So I went out, long story short, the very first day I collected 8 bags, so 8 bags of plastic, the 8 bags that you guys have in Johannesburg, the plastic bags. Myself and Lovemore, who was living with me at the time, the first day we collected 8 bags. And when I left Johannesburg in May of 2021, which was last year, my goal was to reach 100,000 bags and 100 dustbins. And that's building to 100 dustbins. If you drive around Fourways, Sunny Hill, Rivonia, Douglasdale, you'll see these red Live Life Always dustbins that I placed in between all these city of Johannesburg dustbins. And the reason why I put them there is because the taxi ranks were the ones that were creating most of the pollution. Yeah. It's people throwing out their waste and creating huge mess in Fourways. So in Fourways, we had it to be, my whole philosophy about when I was in Four Ways was there were three fundamental things: employment, education, and cleaning up the planet. Now, if you know, maybe you know the stats better, but in June and July of 2020, I think the unemployment rate in Diepsloot was in the 90s, 95% unemployment rate.
Mm.
So, I was trying to employ people from Diepsloot. I was trying to get them educated to help clean up the Four Ways, because it was it's a cheap taxi ride from Diepsloot to Four Ways. And then obviously trying to save the environment. So, in the year and a half that I really had a team that was working 6 days a week on Four Ways, including myself, we managed to make a substantial inroads in cleaning up Four Ways. And my whole motto was to people, big corporates that were in the area, Future City Four Ways, all these big garage companies, Four Ways Mall, was all very simple. Guys, if we clean Four Ways, we're going to have first of all, a safer neighborhood. We're going to have your property values are going to go up. And, we're going to be able to have a healthy environment besides safe environment. It's just a healthy environment, less depression, less agroness. I mean, there's enough agroness in Four Ways, enough people that are full of tension on the roads as it is. So that was my goal.
So then tell me then, I'm assuming now that you've left, some of this is still ongoing. What's the total weight of the waste that you and your team managed to pick up while you were there and doing it actively?
Sure. You know what? If I have to think about 100,000 bags just before I left South Africa, okay? Let's say 120,000 bags, and each bag weighs 8 kilos. I mean, you can do the maths. We're talking almost 1 million kilos. I think I've reached now with Zanzibar, I must be close to almost 2 million kilograms of waste that I've collected in 2 years off the streets of not only Four Ways, because, I mean, today they did a river cleanup in Four Ways. They collected 65 bags. So I really believe I'm close to 2 million kilograms of waste that I've collected off the streets of Four Ways. And at that stage, it was Sunny Hill, Rivonia, Douglasdale, that greater area, and now on the small area of Jambiani, which is the southeast coast of Zanzibar.
Yeah. In addition to that, you had some other initiatives, right? To reuse things. I know you did this bench in Lone Hill Park. Tell us a little bit about that and what that was all about.
Well, as you know, I mean, eco-bricking it's called an eco-brick, which is basically filling a 2-liter Coke bottle with single-use plastics, making it almost rock solid as a brick, and it should weigh just short of 1 kilogram. This was, I think, came about in either Amsterdam or one of the European countries by a lady, and the whole idea was to fill these single-use plastics, and use them to build homes, schools, and whatever else. I was obviously too scared to build homes and schools because in days, these things plastic is very toxic if it gets burnt down. So I decided, let me just build a bench, which was safe enough because it won't collapse. It was built with bricks, and the one in Lone Hill, I managed to use 700 Ecobricks, which is, if you think about it, it's about 700 kilograms of waste, because each brick is just short of 1 kilogram. I then put a mural on it, which I got an artist, and the whole thing was to depict about how plastic is really destroying the oceans. And the reason why we got Lone Hill Park is because Lone Hill Park was I was living in Lone Hill, and it was all about trying to create awareness with the people that are walking their dogs in the park. So it was, and then I built another one, which was in Beverly, which is a park just up the road from Lone Hill. There, I did a very similar project where I used 1,000 eco bricks. So in total, I built 2 benches in Johannesburg using 1,700 bricks.
And I've been to that park, right? It's a very popular dog park in the area. People go there now. It should still be there for them to have a look at, right?
Of course, yeah. The bench might be slightly faded. I mean, I don't know. I haven't been back to that area in quite a while. But the bench is still there. It's still got the eco bricks and the whole structure, and hopefully it's still creating awareness. It's about children sitting on this thing and understand, or people saying, what is that? It's a plastic bottle, because you can see all the plastic bottles sticking outside the bottom of it.
Yeah.
And, the whole idea is just to create awareness about what plastic is doing to our planet.
Yeah, yeah. Very, very important. So now I'm more excited to talk about the Zanzibar piece, right? Because now you got to Zanzibar, I think it's about a year, and there's a whole bunch of things that you're doing there. So tell us all about the work that you're now doing in Zanzibar.
Okay, so as you can imagine, I went from the beaches into the villages, and I started realizing that again we have similar problems here as you do in South Africa. Well, here there's absolutely no service delivery. The village people have no dustbins whatsoever. So at least in South Africa, in Fourways, in these areas, you'll have a city of Joburg dustbin. Here there's zero. There's zero government collection. So in the space of 11 months, I've built 44 dustbin stations, and with a company called Zanzibar, which is it's a privately owned waste management company. They come and they empty these dustbins on a weekly basis, once a week. Now, I've been extremely fortunate because they do this for free. We're moving forward. If anyone else wants to do this type of project, either up north or anywhere else in Zanzibar, they're going to have to start paying for the services. I was very lucky to get Zanric on board. As I said to you, it's a privately owned company that's funded by Swedish and Denmark people, big corporate people. And unfortunately, the problem here is there's absolutely no recycling. So at least in South Africa, you say, Sean, there's 10%. I don't even think we have 1% here of recycling, not even. So 90% of our 99.9% of our garbage here either gets taken from the beach into this dustbin or onto the back burnt. Most of the stuff is burnt, or it ends up in over 100 landfills that are illegal landfills. So the island is basically a dump site. And you've got foreign tourism coming here, spending $100, $150, $200 a night on a hotel, and they have to drive through villages that are polluted with waste.
Yeah, I mean, it's such a beautiful place. I mean, it's a shame if we lost all that beauty permanently because we couldn't get the recycling. So that is concerning. But I did learn something in just chatting to you earlier, just before we started recording. You spoke about a concept called upcycling, which I found quite interesting. Would you like to tell us what is upcycling?
So, I mean, for me, I realized that all the tourists are drinking water out of plastic bottles because the water here is not drinkable, really. And these plastic bottles, by the time they're recycled back into a pellet form, is either about 30% in Dar es Salaam, which is is a ferry ride from here, but the rest is either Turkey or India. So I mean, the carbon footprint by the time this plastic bottle, and I'll show you one here. I mean, this is the plastic bottle here. Right. By the time this is recycled back into a pellet form, is in Turkey or India. I mean, it's crazy. So what I have tried to do is try to create fashion from stuff that's not recyclable. So 90% of my products, which are on my Instagram page, I've created laundry baskets, I've created toilet roll holders, I've created bill presenters. A bill presenter is something when you go to a restaurant and you put a bill inside.
Right.
I've created placemats. I've created little display boxes. Everything that is inside those products is a used milk carton. There's a used cement bag. There is obviously Tanzanian fabric, which gives it the color and the attraction. And then on my laundry baskets or anything that you've got to carry is string that we pull off the beach. A lot of the times on our beach cleanups, we find a tremendous amounts of nylon string which is, as you know, is super problematic when it comes to getting entangled in marine life, fishes, turtles, dolphins, whales. I've now used those strings to carry the baskets.
Okay, that's amazing. Just pulling. I was aware of the turtle dolphin problem. I first heard about it a few years back. It's quite shocking. I mean, just the amount of animal death it causes. So I mean, if you're doing that with the milk cartons, that's fantastic. And I mean, I really hope that that grows and continues. Okay. So thanks for that, Sean. Now, we need to start wrapping up. And you've told us so much, and I'm sure a lot of people, after hearing this, really appreciate some of the things you're doing. But then my next question: why do you do what you do? What's driving you?
To cut it short, I mean, I've got 2 young children, and I've realized that if you listen to the documentaries, you go onto Netflix, and you listen to any documentary based on oceans, forests, climate change, everything, we are facing a catastrophic future. I mean, those stats that you gave, the stats that I gave, we as a human race are destroying this planet faster than we can actually imagine. Yeah. So I am trying to eliminate that so that my children can have a better future. Your children can have a better future. I'm the one who's putting up my hand, and I'm hoping people will follow suit.
And then lastly, Sean, what do you stand for?
I stand for peace, for our oceans, for Mother Earth, for our peace. I just want Mother Earth to be able to just to be healed. I want to heal Mother Earth. I want to give back.
Yeah. So that's great, Sean. Thank you so much for giving us some time. Obviously, you're from your busy schedule up there in Zanzibar, and I'm sure a lot of people, after hearing this, would like to come and visit you up there. Probably still a beautiful place, as long as we can prevent the waste issue from getting out of control, which guys like yourself are doing. So really appreciate that. Perhaps we'll chat to you again, in the future, Sean. But you have a great day. And viewers, I hope you really enjoyed that. Some great insight there from Sean Williams, Live Life Always. He was our guest today.